The sting of the Thanksgiving Day game is still very fresh for Detroit Lions fans, but it is time to move on. We have a game this week, and we are officially in the beginning of week 13. Well, that actually starts, I want to say it's the Wednesday is when the new league week starts. But we have a game, so we have to move on. And the week 13 power rankings are out. And again, this is something I enjoy doing. When I start a series, I'll typically try to finish it. Last week, the Detroit Lions were in the top 5. Excuse me, they were third overall in the league. I'm sure that they have taken quite the tumble after the loss to the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving, but there should be some other teams that tumble as well. So without further ado, let's find out. I have not, once again, looked at these. Let's find out where the Detroit Lions land with the NFL Power Rankings Week 13. Now, I think, obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles remain number one, being the best team in football, so they are improved to 10-1. And they are still at the top of the food chain. I would have to say that they'll probably give the second spot to either the Baltimore Ravens or the San Francisco 49ers, and whichever doesn't have 2 will have 3. Baltimore Ravens, number 2, and the number 3, San Francisco 49ers. Now, this was the Detroit Lions spot last week. They probably fell out of the top 5, so I'm going to say the Miami Dolphins are going to be number 4. The Kansas City Chiefs, number 4. Okay, so that means Miami will be number 5. The Dallas Cowboys. Okay, I'm just going to stop talking. I'm going to assume, depending on where, okay, the Miami Dolphins are number 6. So the Detroit Lions will stay in the top 10. I'm going to say they're going to be 7 or 8. Let's find out. They are the Jacksonville Jaguars are 7. The Detroit Lions are 8, falling 5 spots from 3 to 8. Here is what they had to say. The lack of defensive plays hasn't been a season-long issue, but it has become a more chronic one of late. Seeing that unit struggle to stop the Packers on Thanksgiving wasn't a complete shock to anyone who's watched Lions football over the past 2 months or so. So what was stunning was the lack of pass protection for Jared Goff. Sure, the veteran QB was his own worst enemy and suddenly has become devastatingly turnover prone, but the offensive line's breakdowns against Green Bay was a surprise if you've been attuned to Detroit. Is this the way it's going to be from here on out? The truth is that the Lions can still lose a few games and win the division, but if they want to win the first playoff game in over 3 decades, these issues need fixing by January. Well, dropping 5 spots with the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Miami Dolphins, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what? And the San Francisco 49ers, I will take that because all of those teams above the Detroit Lions won this past weekend. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them dropping 5 spots. You got to win. If they would have won, they would have stayed exactly where they were. But losing, you can't lose games and stay in the top 5. That's just how it is. But here's the thing, and I say this with love. Again, a lot of criticism in the comment section that the Lions are 8-3. And what are we complaining for, quote unquote? And it's not complaining about the record. And I'll take you back to the 2022 Minnesota Vikings. They won a history-setting 11 games out of 17 that were 1 score. They were on the positive side of every one of those games. For instance, last night, they lost 1. Okay? We could easily become that team. And the lack of a pass rush, the defense, we're not the only ones. 8-3 doesn't mean that you have a good defense. 8-3 doesn't mean you won't get bounced out the playoffs in the first round. And I'm going to be honest. Well, you know what? I'll save that for another video. So Lions drop from 3 to 5. I'm sorry, from 3 to 8, 5 spots. I am okay with this. Number 9 is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, who cracked the top 10, go up 4 spots. And number 10 is the Cleveland Browns that went from 9 to number 10. I am perfectly fine with the Detroit Lions dropping 5 spots. The teams that moved up, they all won. We lost. Best case scenario, we stay at 3. Got to win games. You got to win games. And usually I'm very critical of the critique of the NFL person when it comes to the power ranking. Seems like no matter what happens, the Detroit Lions can't ever get the respect they deserve. But you know what? You came out. You had lost 6 games on Thanksgiving in a row. As a matter of fact, I just made a Matt Patricia video a couple hours ago. And I just realized this. The Lions had lost 7 games in a row on Thanksgiving. That's all 3 under Dan Campbell. That is all 3 under Matt Patricia. And his last game that he coached as a Detroit Lions head coach was a Thanksgiving Day game. And that would be Jim Caldwell's last year we also lost on Thanksgiving. The last time he won on Thanksgiving was in 2016, which is also the last year we went to the playoffs, which was Jim Caldwell's 3rd year. So again, you have to come out and win games if you want to get the respect you deserve. Now the Lions can get back probably with the win over the New Orleans Saints. Will probably maybe get back to the top 5. It depends on what happens to those guys above them. So I have no issue with this at all. Lions got to do better, and they need to. So hopefully they will get back on track this week against the New Orleans Saints. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.